Good morning everyone. So today we're at a Jeep. It's a Jeep Cherokee, is it really? Cherokee? Cherokee, I think it is. CRDI, it's a common rail diesel. No say, it just says Jeep.
Aye, just Jeep in this year.
So it just says Jeep, CRD diesel, 54 plate, customer's complaint. So we have a code, a Charlie 36 Alpha 603, front left sensor circuit failure. So when you try to clear the code, it comes back immediately. And let me see, we'll come out of that. So we'll go into live data. So I gave it a spin up the road. The right front was reading up to 4 miles an hour, but the left front, there was zero output from it. So the customer said they'd change, we think, the sensor. So what I think the best plan of attack here, since it's a circuit failure, check the bias voltage in the good sensor, then check the bias voltage in the bad side. So we'll go and have a quick visual look at it. You can see exactly what I see, so the wiring looks fine. If indeed that is the wiring going up there, so what we'll do, we'll whip the wheel off and have a check of the bias voltage. Look at the other side. There's the other side up there. So I can't see that being changed. So there's the ABS wire there, so we've tracked it up and it goes over the top of the suspension and then it loops back down and we've tracked it into here near the air conditioning, what do you call that again, accumulator. So you can see it's a red and a blue wire, so we're going to go in there with a scope and see if we have a bias voltage, and then we'll go to the other side and see what the voltage should be on the good side. We're probed into these two wires, and I'll show you the scope. So you can see that we have a good healthy 12 volt, or just under 12 volt, let's see. There we go. Oh dear. No focusing. What does it say already? 10 volts, 10.65. So I would imagine that would be about right for that anyway. So we'll check the other side, but I think we're looking at a sensor. And the very fact the fault comes back immediately, must be an open circuit in the sensor. In fact, what we can do, and that'll no work, could have done an ohms test down through the sensor, but I'll end up going through the ECU. So that's maybe not a good option. So there you can see we've got a good 10.35 volts. So at the good side, the driver's side, or the off side as we call it here, and you can see our voltage there, 8.91. So there's a big difference here. So I would assume the other side is open circuited. So we're going to order a sensor and see if that does the job here, because there's a big difference in voltage. There we go. Top tip for today, just to check. We were convinced it was the sensor, and then we had a rethink. So what I done was, got this cheap, I think you call this a decade box, and we put it in series. Is it in series or in parallel? Let me think. In parallel with our multimeter, which goes into that connector. That's the ABS connector. So I've disconnected that, and that goes right back to the ABS ECU. So I put my test leads in there, put my multimeter in there, and when this circuit is, let me see, you prop them out there already? I'll go there. That's it, my man. So when that circuit is not loaded, i.e. open circuit, it's the same when we had in the car, we were 10.66 volts. So we'll go and then, let's see, we'll read the codes. So you can see left front sensor circuit failure, so we escape. We'll try to raise the codes and go yes, yes, okay. Read the codes, right back, so we'll come out of that. So Roddy will connect, we'll load up that circuit to roughly the same voltage as the other side. So you can see that's 9.45, so there's the settings there. I don't know how many ohms that is. We just fiddled about with it already, didn't we? So we'll then go and read the codes again. So this is fooling it to think it's got a sensor. So it still says it's active. So we'll escape out of it, erase the code. Yes, yes. Okay. Read the code. There we go. So we need a sensor. And they're quite expensive, these things. Some of the parts department says you need it as part of the bearing, but the main dealer says you can get it separate. So we need to order a sensor. But that's a way to get rid of the code by loading up the circuit, reducing the voltage, and at least that tells us integrity of our wiring is good from there all the way back to the computer ECU. Although what it does not tell us, indeed, is if the ABS sensor hub is good. So just one thing at a time. New sensor installed, so it's a moment of truth. So watch these figures as we drive away. Yes, one up. They're all working. There we go, that's a fix.